stoked as I am. We're going to play our next song now. We're going to play another song. got one more song. We do one more song?
Kia ora and hello everyone. I'm just working my way slowly but surely into the room. The wonderful members of Giantess here in the live room. Thank you so much for performing. That was amazing.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, we are so lucky to have you there. I just want to put a little reminder out to all of our lovely Girls Rock Camp campers that if you have any questions here for Kiki or anyone in Giantess, then make sure that you send them through to the text number and I'll make sure that those questions get asked. So first off, I wanted to start with how Giantess came to be, because you kind of been through some other amazing musical projects.
Yeah. So me and Jason used to be in Hex, and then for a bunch of reasons that sort of wound up, and I'd been writing all these songs, and I thought that I wanted to do them as like a solo project, and then I didn't. I just had written like a whole album's worth of songs, and I didn't know what to do. And then I was like, oh, do you want to be in my band, my new band? And so me and my mum were like talking about like what we should call it, and then we came up with Giantess.
Amazing. So you and your mum came up with the name together.
Yeah, my mum's like, she's like an enabler. You know, she works with us on heaps of our music video concepts and stuff.
That is so cool. It's a great name as well. Like, you've really stumbled upon something awesome there.
Yeah, except one of my kids thinks that it's Giantess.
Yeah.
Like the letter S, and she, every time I'm like, no, it's like Giantess. She's like, no, it's not. I'm like, oh.
You should make some amazing merch with just like a giant S on it. And
well, Callum's already like,
hey.
Yeah, like the 90s S.
The Sketch of Stussy or someone like that? Yeah, I know that S you mean. Billboard size S.
Yeah.
I love that. So speaking of the writing you've been working on this album you released. Congratulations, by the way. It's an incredible album released in May this year.
Yeah, thanks.
We love it. We've had the news and Gone Gone Golden on our playlist, and so we've been listening to it quite a lot here.
We're like low-key working on some new videos for it as well. So we're like, it's just fun.
I can imagine, yeah, because you've been working on it for about 2 years, the songs in it, right?
Yeah, so the songs were written about we started probably actively pre-producing the songs, about 1.5, 2 years ago. And then that whole time has been like finding pockets of time to record it. And then me not being happy with it, so re-recording it, and then Jason mixing it, and then me not being happy with it, so him remixing it. It's been like a long process of me being like, no, I hate it. Let's redo it.
That's fun. Yeah, I can imagine, because that sort of process in critiquing yourself can be quite a hard line to walk.
Yeah, it's not even critiquing it though. It's just like I hear it and I'm like doesn't sound like it's supposed to in my brain. But that's the beauty, right, of DIY stuff, is that you can do that. It's like we're not paying for studio time. We're in our bedroom, you know, we're in our garage. You can just be like, nah, scrap it, let's try something totally new, and you're not paying by the hour.
Yeah, of course. That's so you do all the recording and things at your own place?
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. So you've got a one-stop shop going on, essentially.
Yeah.
That's so cool. What made you decide to, I mean, obviously you gave a good reason then, but is there any other reasoning behind why you don't go into a studio to record albums?
Because we're broke. Because we're musicians. And it's like, yeah. There's just so much great stuff, like great software and stuff available. You know, like you can do this stuff at home on a laptop.
This is so true. What kind of softwares do you tend to go for? Like, what's your go-to?
Well, I have this sort of broken computer. Well, it's actually totally broken now. It doesn't work at all. No. But that's what I did all the demoing on, just on GarageBand, because I just love GarageBand. And then, but all the actual like recording, like tracking was done on Ableton. And then, yeah, just with like mics that we borrowed from people, and just, yeah. That's basically it, eh?
That is amazing. I love that. I think it's so cool. That DIY thing is quite a common thing in New Zealand music, but the shared aspect of it is something I find really beautiful about New Zealand music scene in general. Everyone's willing to share.
Yeah. And we also like used a bunch of like plugins that you could get like 1 month trials on. So we'd be like, okay, for this song we want to trial this plugin. Well, Jason would have like researched it, and he'll be like, I really want to use this plugin, and I can get a trial for 1 month. So we need to do this and this and this within this month. And we'll be like, okay.
That's amazing. I love it. That gives you a bit of a time crunch as well, I suppose.
Yeah, it's good for deadlines.
Oh, that is just awesome. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about all the different things you do and juggle in this world, because you are working full-time and you are creating music and you are creative in general. You're also a mother. You have so many amazing things going on. How do you find juggling your creativity with so many hats?
Well, I only work 25 hours a week.
That's still working, girl.
It does. I am like, I don't juggle it well, to be honest. I like feel like I do a bunch of stuff not very super great. But I'm like, I'll just give it a good old try, you know? I feel like I do parenting pretty good. And I feel like I do them all pretty good. But yeah, it's just hard like shifting my focus between the different things. But I mean, ideally I would just play music all the time, but I also love my job because I work in like justice transformation stuff, and like that's super important to me. And of course I love my children. They're super important to me. But yeah, the great thing is that like I think one of the super excellent things is being able to do my work and my music and my family stuff all at home. So that is a massive help.
I can imagine, yeah, having it all in one place must be really, really good.
Yes.
That's awesome, and I can imagine a lot of the people listening currently are kind of thinking about that because they'll be juggling things like school and their maybe part-time jobs and also their music and all that kind of thing. So learning to juggle that stuff is quite hard.
Yeah, like actually my therapist just told me about this thing which is called the baskets. I guess you can look it up online. It's like you have 5 baskets, I think. You've got like yourself and your well-being, and then you've got your work, and then you've got like your extended family community, then you've got like your immediate family, and there's one other thing, and you have like 50 eggs and you need to figure out how to put them in your different baskets. Hobbies is the 5th one. And like I've been thinking about that. Like I've been thinking about it, not doing anything about it, but just like thinking about it as a concept to like help me manage my time better. Also, I just got addicted to this game on my phone called Dots, where you just like join all these dots together, and I'm like, oh, well, that's why I'm not good at managing my time. So I'm playing this
Honestly,
game on my phone.
games can just take so much time out of your life.
Yeah.
Social media, all that jazz.
Yeah.
Oh, good on you for juggling it as well as you do. That's awesome. I just wanted to ask as well what you think is the most rewarding and non-rewarding things about making music. Like, we'll start off with the most rewarding.
The most rewarding thing is probably I just love putting out music, like recording and releasing and playing live. Yeah, I just love. I always say I love the recording process, but I had so many meltdowns during the recording process. But I think I still love it. Like I definitely love it. Like it feels good maybe after the fact. But and I love playing live. Yeah, and yeah, meeting people. That's probably the best thing. Yeah, like I've met some of the best people through music. And did you ask me what the least rewarding thing is?
Yes.
Oh.
Most and least. Both.
Okay. The least rewarding thing is like promotion. Like having to promote or, like talk about ourselves.
Like we're making
yeah,
you do
like
right
doing
now?
social media posts and stuff. I'm just like, oh, I'm so like, it just makes me feel like immediately exhausted.
Yeah, I know that feeling. In fact,
Yeah.
how do you manage that in your? Because obviously it's kind of a thing you have to do. You just have to be on social media as an artist. How do you kind of manage that feeling for yourself?
Like I have like every time I have to post something or go to post something, I'm like, should we just quit social media? Like, because I'm like, we probably should ethically, right? But like, also I'm like, but then it's so incredibly useful for like grassroots activism and like getting messages out there and like for like independent artists and blah blah blah. Yeah, so I don't know, I just have this internal struggle every time I go to post something. Basically I just feel like ugh.
It's a vicious cycle, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, I think there's a lot of people who have that similar thing, especially at the moment with everything going on with Facebook and so on and so forth.
It's such a mess.
Just a little bit. So finding your collaborators, your lovely collaborators here, Callum and Jason, how did you guys all come together as a band?
So me and Jason worked with Hex doing like mixing stuff since like 2016. And then he ended up joining the band on drums and then moved to guitar. And so we'd played with Jason. I'd played with Jason for a number of years. And then we had this, then when we started Giantess, we had this drummer, Lauren, and she ended up moving to LA to do her masters in drumming. And then I was like, this old guy. But actually I was just like, looking for someone who had the sort of drumming power that I wanted for the sound of the album. Yeah. Would you say you're a powerful drummer, Callum?
I guess so. A reasonably straightforward.
He's a straightforward, powerful drummer.
Straightforward, powerful drummer. That was what you go.
He is a dynamic drummer. Yeah, so
Yeah,
basically
no,
we
makes
just like,
sense.
we're like, who went through jazz school or who's done some jazz drumming? We'll get them. They're always amazing.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, if you can keep time in jazz, you
Yeah.
can keep time in anything, sure.
And just super like articulate. It's cool.
That's awesome. So how do you, when you're looking to find the right collaborators and the right people to work with in general, what do you have a general rule for it?
My general rule is that I'm bad at it. I try to be, I think one thing that helps is just being incredibly clear about what everyone wants from being in the band or participating in making music. And my general rule now is that they have to have other musical projects going on, because this is my band and I'm like, this is not a democracy. Like, what I say has to happen. And so it just makes it easier if people have other things that they like can run other projects or whatever.
No, that's a really interesting choice, and I think that's an important distinction, because a lot of the time there's a big difference between collaborating as a band and it being your project working with musicians. There's a huge difference between that, and I think a lot of our listeners might not realize that distinction.
Yeah, totally. Because I've been in bands where we have written the songs together in the band room, and it's a totally different process to what's going on here. It's like I write everything and then I give it to the musicians, the players, and then they play it. Yeah.
That is awesome. I love that, and I'm so excited to see more live performances from you guys coming soon. We are out of time, I'm afraid, but I did want to ask one last question before you go, and that is, if you could go back and say one thing about music to your younger self, what would you say?
I would say be proud that you play the bass recorder, because it's a really cool, underrated instrument.
Yeah, true.
And just back yourself. Like, there is no right way to be a musician. So just back yourself and do it your way.
That's so true. Gosh, gorgeous words to end on there, Kiki. Thank you so much for joining us. We've been so lucky having you here in the Walk On Live room with us.
Thank you, and have a great show tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited for all the campers out there. Enjoy your mentor sessions after this, and enjoy the amazing show tomorrow at Meow.
Yeah.
And a big thank you to Girls Rock Camp Pōneke as well, because without them, this wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, kia ora.
Kia ora to them. That is awesome. And kia ora to you guys for joining us. Thanks so much.
It's radioactive.